Hey everyone, STT here, and we're doing something a little differently today. It's getting to that time of the year where I noticed that the views for my old Canon in G string quartet arrangement video are starting to go back up. Tends to happen around the holidays, go figure. But it reminded me some of my old music content of my channel, and that I had at one point uploaded a medley of video game music that I had done for one of the orchestras that I was in that I unfortunately never got to perform. So that got me thinking to some of my other stuff if I thought, well, are there any other arrangements I would like to share that I haven't performed yet? And yes, there are a couple. But this is the one that I think probably is the most shareable. I think a lot of my other arrangements really are mostly just transcriptions, but this one's got a little bit more creativity to it, so I thought it would be fun to share this with y'all today. So as you can see on the screen here, this is my Fantasia on the Temple of Time. Temple of Time obviously being from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Classic song from that game that is mostly just the, kind of Gregorian chant sort of thing. So my Fantasia on the Temple of Time here is basically a collection of 5 different variations on that theme. The first variation that's at the front of the arrangement here is based very heavily on the arrangement of the Temple of Time theme from the Ocarina of Time Re-Arranged album, which is an official release from The Legend of Zelda for that game. So that's where you can really see the interplay between the cello and viola here. Is taken directly from that arrangement there. The next variation in this little collection here is a fugue. I just thought fugues are fun. I'm going to throw a fugue in. So that's the second variation in the Fantasia. The third one is taking Temple of Time into a major key, because that's always fun. Then we get to the fourth and fifth variations in the Fantasia, and I still like them, but it does date when I arranged this piece, because here, let me pull it up here. Oh, come on. The fourth theme or variation is something that popped into my head when I was thinking, what else can I do with this music? With Temple of Time, it starts with the bum, 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 that sort of thing. And if you kind of treat that as an ostinato and maybe speed it up a little, bum 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 bum, kind of get where I'm going here. Yes, it's the Game of Thrones theme. So the fourth variation in this arrangement is entirely Game of Thrones, or at least the blend between the Game of Thrones theme and the Temple of Time theme. And then the last arrangement, or last variation in this arrangement here, again, also a little dated, but still fun, because again, around this time, Game of Thrones was popular. Around that same time, Skyward Sword came out, and the big musical news from Skyward Sword was the Ballad of the Goddesses was just Zelda's theme backwards. I think that's the right one. People will correct me in the comments of which exact theme it is backwards, but that's all it is. So I took that same sort of thing. You can very clearly see that Ballad of the Goddesses rhythm that I've thrown in here. At least part of this one is cello too, and you'll see it in other places as well. This is now just the Temple of Time theme reversed, and again, I've put it back into a major key, as you can see here, measure 116. Yeah, just fun stuff there. And we never got to perform this because although I auditioned this for our small ensemble concert a couple times, it never got picked. So honestly, I would love if people have any suggestions on how to improve this arrangement, drop them in the comments. I would love to hear them. And of course, at this point, again, the last 2 parts of the arrangement are dated, but I still think they're fun. So, yeah, I think that's all I've got. Well, okay, that's not all I've got. I'm sure people have probably noticed while I've been talking. This is an odd little ensemble, isn't it? Viola, 3 cellos, and a bass. This is based on the fact that in the orchestra I was in, I was basically section leader for the entire low strings because they had the orchestra sometimes break off into sections, but they didn't have for rehearsal, I should say, break into sections for rehearsal. But they didn't always want just like a single instrument practicing by itself, because then you're not necessarily getting the sound of the orchestra with it. So you had woodwinds in one section, brass in another, percussion in another, and then they split the strings into violins and low strings. So I was often leading the low strings, and I actually made several arrangements for low strings small ensembles, and so this is one of them. Hope you all enjoy. I'm going to drop my video here because you don't want to just watch me staring at the screen as we play this. There we go. Let's drop that. Yeah, and we'll switch views here. So we got a nice viewing experience for y'all. And this is the Fantasia on the Temple of Time. I hope you enjoy.